Okay, so Kurt is kind of we've just jumped into this interview really, and Kurt is talking about uh, fetuses and things of that nature, and he's really kind of talking about birth. He's really fascinated with birth. So we'll continue from here.
The old saying that you can't buy happiness. You think that's true?
Well,
and I also noted the sarcasm. We know that he doesn't want to be a rock star. Last video, he said, well, since I became a rock star, in last video, I noted the sarcasm because he doesn't want to be that. Very present in the mind. He has that, and these things, the way that mind works is things are coming up as he's talking. They're coming up spontaneously on the fly. And so they're coming up at the perfect time because his brain is like, yep, right here, boom, pulling up and it's probably sitting. So you have your conscious, your subconscious, I would say, and your unconscious, in a way as I would characterize it. And the way I'm characterizing it that way in terms of your conscious is what I'm thinking about right now. Subconsciously, it's just kind of sitting at the surface level, ready to be pulled up in the unconscious, very deep. You got to do some work to get down there. But in the subconscious, I say it's sitting in the subconscious because the brain is pushing it up. So this is something that, if you think about a computer system, the way Windows works is they do what I think it's called, I'm not a computer guy, but they do what's called indexing files. And I was like, well, I was noticing that my memory was being taken up because of that. And I was like, what the heck is indexing? And so I looked it up, and the way it was explained to me, if I'm thinking about it correctly, was Windows is pulling up folders, or it's sort of like holding in memory folders that you often open, so it won't be so hard, or it won't take so much time for Windows to pull it up when you ask for it, if you're gonna be looking at it all the time. And I think his brain, and that's kind of what I'm describing when I'm saying that it's sitting in the subconscious. So there are certain things that are sitting there ready to be talked about, ready to be expanded on or expounded on. And that's important because these are things that are swirling in his head all the time. And these things are motivating factors in how he lives his everyday life, how he interacts with people, how he talks with people, how he makes decisions and discusses things with people. These are the motivating factors that pops up when he goes to make decisions. So if you want to know what he's going to do next, understand what's going on in his subconscious. So when he goes to do that, could be anything that he sees. He could see the building and be like, oh, I saw this building in, kind of a model like this in Mall of America. Goes back to a time when he was in Mall of America, and whatever happened in Mall of America that was meaningful to him, maybe the baby stuff. And so when he's making a decision about whatever he's doing in that building, he's thinking about, the new birth and stuff like that. And so later on you will hear, if you ask him about that, or so, you went to this building and signed a contract right up there. And he's like, yeah, I just thought of that. He'll probably say, yeah, I just thought about it as this sort of rebirth and this way of coming into the newness of life, because, and that's probably what it will lead into.
Yeah, you can't buy happiness. I mean, that made me happy for a little while. But I mean, I was just probably almost just as happy with, I don't know. I look back on going to secondhand stores and stuff like that and finding a little treasure like that. And that actually meant more to me because it was more of a stab in the dark in a way, because you didn't know if you're going to be able to afford it, and you don't know what you're really looking for. And when you find it, it's more special to you rather than, have.
And he's just not happy. That's nostalgia, man. He's supposed to light up. And it's like, if you look in his eyes, they're kind of red. I know he's smoking, but smoking wouldn't do that. What he's doing, tobacco, I don't think would do that. But it's like either it's cold out there, or he's dang near on the verge of like tears of some sort.
Between $1,000 and going into a store like that and just buying the whole store, it's not as special.
Because you've achieved so much success, so quickly, so surprisingly.
I was wondering what that question about jumping back into success, here we go again, what that was going to do. It's like now he's starting to pull away from this interviewer. Now he started off open-minded, but now it seems like he's starting to pull away from her. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to talk about this anymore. It's more of this fame stuff and trying to go back to a time that made me happy, but that time no longer makes me happy. The things that I found joy in, I no longer I find joy in those. Now we can go back to the point that he made about running out of ideas. You're running out of ideas because you no longer have the motivation, because you don't want to do it, because now it's a job. Now it's no longer fun. And you feel like you've the motivation and the joy behind what you do has been stolen from you. These people have, and that's very sad. Like I wish I could express to you how sad he is that this joy has been stolen and taken away from him. Not that he's given it up or he's lost it. It's been taken away from him forcefully. He's tried to keep it. And every time somebody said something to him about, well, you have to do this, you have to do that. Kurt, you gotta do it for the fans, or Kurt, you gotta do this. Like it took a little bit took more pieces of him and took like another piece of him. And like he just slowly felt like he's losing himself.
You've had a baby, you're married. What excites you now?
My baby and my marriage. I don't know. I still like playing too. I mean, Chris and Dave and I haven't changed at all. I mean, believe it or not,
just a dad.
We get along just as well as we ever did. You know, we're just as the same passive aggressive people as we used to be. You know, we never fight. You know, we're pissed off at each other. We just hold it under our breath and have respect for one another in that way. You know, it's easier to work that way. You know, because we have a mission, I guess.
How do you
I don't know why he mentioned passive aggressiveness. He may be tired of the band. I don't think he's tired of his friends. I think he's tired of what the band has become. And because of all of the pressure, the band has changed in his mind, I would think. The band has changed. And because of all of the pressure, I'm frustrated with you. You're frustrated with me. I'm frustrated with him. He's frustrated with me. We're all frustrated with each other, but we know we're no longer really friends like we used to be because we're always frustrated at each other. And now, because he says we're the same, but you're not the same. You're different. But you're passive aggressive because they know they have love for each other, but you're passive aggressive because I really want to do this way. Kurt is like, I really want to do it this way. And maybe the bandmates are like that. They're the same, but they're like, but Kurt, we have to do it this way because of that. And like, he's like, man, whatever. You know, I guess we can do it that way. And there's so much you can tell on his face. He just wants to scream, you know, and just like his eyes are telling me that he's frazzled inside. Like he's extremely frazzled, like his hair, like he looks nice now, but his hair in his head, like he's done that. And his hair is just disheveled all over his head. That's kind of the energy that I'm seeing.
I personally cope with having relationships, private relationships that are always being scrutinized publicly. It must be really difficult.
Well, it is, but I mean, I still have a lot of the same friends that I used to have, so they don't seem to mind, and that isn't ever really exposed too much. You know, no one writes about how me and my friend Dylan walked down the street and did whatever, but
they rip apart you and Courtney. They love to do that.
Yeah, I don't know why, but we're just I don't know. I guess like my ego could be talking right now and I could say, well, we're interesting people, but I think we're just easy scapegoats. Mm-hmm. It's just, it started with something and then, people just pick up on it and carry it along and we turn into cartoon characters. And
he is a shell of himself right now. He is a shell. Just lifeless right now. Very lifeless, very empty. I'm empty. I'm done. I'm just a shell of what I used to be. I can't get back to what I used to be. I can't find the motivation. I wonder if getting married, maybe he was and having a kid, maybe he was grasping to try to find happiness again. but couldn't find it. And so he was struggling to try to get it. I'm trying to find something to motivate me and get me back, because this is the thing about it. When you cannot find motivation, sometimes reading that lack of motivation, that lack of motivation carries it carries far and beyond, you know, lack of motivation for music. It carries over into lack of motivation for being a father, being a husband, and just living life. You know, because once you no longer have, you know, music, this is what you made your name off of. What do you have? Do I want to start over? I mean, I love having money and being maybe being famous. I'd rather be famous and known for my music, but maybe he wanted to be known for his music in a different way. Maybe he wanted to cultivate a community in a different way, but the way that it was sort of given to the world or marketed to the world was in a way that he didn't want it to go. And so possibly trying to find new avenues of inspiration and not being able to find it and sort of really just grasping at straws really discouraged him. And that discouragement, being discouraged in that way, led to not knowing how to get it back. I don't know how to get it back. I don't know what to do anymore to get it back. I just don't have it. It's a very sickening feeling.
There's nothing I can do about it, really. You know, I can threaten to sue and, you know, try to you know, bring up libel laws and stuff like that to people that write like that about us. But, you know, if you've ever looked into that, it's pretty much a lost cause. You have to have a lot of money to do that. And,
Right.
you know, I could spend the money that I earned last year all on fighting the Vanity Fair piece, you know, and they'd end up winning because they have more money, you know. So
There's a magazine in Canada that incorporates itself for each issue, and then it goes bankrupt on each issue so that it can write whatever it wants and no one can ever sue them.
wow, that's a pretty smart thing to do.
Yeah, it is.
That kind of reminds me of how a lot of stations in the States got a hold of our new album, but it was like someone had anonymously sent them like 5th generation cassette copies of our new album, and in order for them to play it, they started on the weekend at 5 o'clock, like on Friday nights. That way they could play it throughout the rest of the weekend without having to...
Now he's excited. She said something that he actually learned, and so he's like, oh man, that's just like this. Now he's excited. If we could keep pulling that, you know, that would be good. You know, giving him something more to be excited about, because he's faintly excited.
Council, you know, sue them, and oh, that's kind of smart.
He's really smiling now. That's a real smile.
You know?
It's free publicity for you anyway. Ultimately, the album's going to come out.
That's true, but the thing is that there's been so much controversy about how bad the record sounds, you know, and how lo-fi it is. And to hear it like that compared to all the other songs that were on the radio that night, it really disgusted me, and it pissed me off because it sounded terrible. It sounded really, really bad. And then everyone that heard it that weekend is going to say, yeah, you're right. Okay, the stories are true. Then the Ron album really sucks, and I'm not going to buy it, you know. So it just kind of bothered me, but we took care of it.
What'd you do?
Well, I thought maybe we should hire a lawyer to stop them to do it. Then instead I just decided to hire him.
Pardon me?
Nothing. Erase that. No, we just called him up on Monday and told
He's trying to joke, man. He's trying to get it, trying to get the groove back.
him to stop.
And they went, oh, okay.
Well, our lawyer did that.
Isn't it a weird world for you to suddenly have lawyers and like people who do stuff like that for you?
Yeah. It's totally unnecessary too. If we weren't in this position, we wouldn't need lawyers. You know?
Right.
It's total unnecessary, and we have to spend a lot of money just to protect ourselves all the time, and it's just stupid.
When did that first hit you? When did you realize that you're going to need some people on your team to protect you from the vultures?
Too late.
I'm gonna stop it right here. But this is a really good interview, man. This is really good. It's really dope. Man, he's revealing a lot of stuff that's intricate to his motivation. So I'm gonna go and come back. But till next video, take it easy.